Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another video on this channel. Seems like I forget this channel's here a lot, but I promise I don't. I just need time and things to talk about. I have been wanting to film this video for a while. I've just been trying to, find the time with, busy summer and just starting my final year of high school, which is pretty scary. But I thought tonight would be a good time to sit down and just talk for a little bit on camera about, obviously you've seen the title, something that I'd say I'm experienced in. I don't know. I guess as kind of all the videos on this channel, it's just kind of my experiences, my opinions, and hoping that it can just kind of help someone someday. Maybe just you want someone to, you want someone to kind of feel the way that you do, so you know you're not alone, and the feelings you feel aren't dumb or they don't go unnoticed. So as seen by the title today, we're going to be talking about seasonal depression and kind of how to deal with that and what it is, and the different kinds and why it's even a thing. And actually I don't have the answer to that, and that's a question that I would like to find out at some point. Probably won't, but maybe. Also ignore the fit. This is just like a fleece that I've had to put on because it's like 20 to 9 at night, and I was like, let's get a video out tonight. So let's get into it. Seasonal depression, I have dabbled in the area. Again, it's one of those things, if you see my emetophobia video, it's one of those things that's just kind of different for everyone. And it can affect people in different ways, at different times, at different severities. But I'll just kind of explain what I think it is in my eyes. It's when for, depression obviously is a mental condition where you just kind of feel numb and low all the time, and you feel like there's no way out of it, there's no light at the end of that tunnel. Thankfully I don't have depression, but obviously there's some people that do, and there's some people that finally do see the light at that tunnel, and there's some people that don't. And but seasonal depression comes at certain points of the year, and that again it's a thing that's different for everyone. And it's kind of just a period of time, and I guess the word seasonal means it's for like a couple of maybe months at a time, maybe a few weeks, maybe a few months. Maybe it's really bad at one point of the month and the next week it's not so bad. As I said, it's something that's different for everyone, and I'm just going to be kind of sharing my experiences and how I got through some stuff. This might get a little heavy. I don't actually know how much detail I'm going to go into this stuff with, but I'm going to just try and speak and see what comes out, I guess. So that's what I think seasonal depression is, in the sense that you're just kind of in a bad space for a certain amount of time, which is what I was kind of living with last summer, which is quite, maybe some would say, is a bit more of an odd time than say Christmas. It has affected me at winter times as well. But last summer it was probably the worst that I'd had it. I don't really know when it really started. I don't really know when I first even heard the term seasonal depression. I just think when I look back on last summer, I think that was bad. That's what that was. I was just kind of in a bad spot mentally. Physically I was fine. I've got 4 walls, a roof over my head, a bed to sleep in, food in the fridge, which I am eternally grateful for, to have so many things given to me. God, last summer, probably kind of around when I was maybe away on holiday, which was probably about the start of July, end of June. I just finished 4th year. Just finished my exams properly, heading into 5th year, which is definitely like the hardest year. If you want me to, maybe I'll do a video on 5th year and exam pressure and everything like that, because I've had my fair share in that as well. But yeah, I'd say that it started around then, and it was such perfect timing because I just went on holiday, and the first kind of thing I remember was that I was also realising that my emetophobia was getting worse. And obviously, if you'd seen my emetophobia video, I'd kind of been living with emetophobia for the last maybe 6 to 8 years of my life. But now it was getting worse, and there was more kind of effects coming with it. I would notice that I'm not even when I feel nauseous or there's something going on around me to do with, sick or anything, but I'd be so anxious about stuff that just wasn't a problem, really. And I didn't know why I felt like that, but it wasn't something that I would really want to speak about to other people. Maybe I'd spoke to maybe someone, but it definitely wasn't to the extent that it was actually going on. I just felt pretty anxious about a lot of the time. And I was just confused on why that happened, really. And I remember I was on holiday and I would get these, I don't want to call them anxiety attacks or panic attacks because I don't know what it is and I don't want to diagnose something that isn't really there. I'd obviously get anxious when I'd have like emetophobia flares or whatever, but like it was just completely out of nowhere and I just didn't really know how to deal with that. And I'd get really, frustrated and annoyed, and I'd be sad, honestly, because I didn't really know what was happening. And there was other stuff going on with more personal stuff, related to me and relationships I have with people, and quite a lot of that. Also on holiday, it was just me and my parents. I didn't really have anyone to like properly sit and talk to, so I just kind of lived with it. And then it got worse. The seasonal depression got worse, and I would just feel so alone all the time. Like if I wasn't busy, if I wasn't with someone, my mindset went like that and just switched completely on me. And I would sit in bed, and at night it was pretty bad. At night was always pretty bad. And I'd sit and I'd like scroll on my phone, and I'd be like, like I just didn't feel like I had like a purpose to life, really. And obviously at still quite a young age, I was only 16, like that's not a feeling that a 16-year-old should really be feeling. And I just didn't really see a future. So that was kind of my summer, and I would just sit in these, like, whenever I wasn't with someone, I'd sit in these constant states of like melancholy, and I would just be like, I wouldn't even, like, I would cry sometimes I would just sit there and feel. What probably didn't kind of help with things was that around the July, August time, I found out that my granddad had cancer. And obviously, again, that's never news you want to hear about anyone. So that didn't help things in any way. And I just didn't really know what to do with myself a lot of the time. So that was probably the lowest time of my life, where I had the seasonal depression time period. The coping mechanisms I had weren't good. Won't go into detail, won't kind of mention that, I'll slide over that, but I knew myself that I had to find a better way to deal, because I knew it wasn't, like, I wasn't gonna help myself get better if I kept going the way I was going. So what I done, and this is the part where if you're going through the same kind of thing, then I want you to listen, okay? I got outside more, which honestly helped so much. Like, even if it was just for 15 minutes, I'd go a walk up to my local shop, round the back, and I'd come back and I'd be so fresh. And everything that I felt up here was gone. It just flushed out my body physically as I was going about. Another thing that really helped was music. So I am very musical. My guitar helped a lot. I find it quite difficult to speak about things. So I wrote songs. I wrote a lot of songs, and I wrote some poems. And sometimes it makes it easier for me to express what I'm feeling, get things off my chest by writing them down or making them into a song. But again, that's a personal thing. And I tried to just flip my mind, you know, in the way that my brain switched like that to the bad mindset. I tried to train it in ways to swap it back round again. So I tried to look at life in a different way. You know, like I actually made a plan of what I wanted to do after school, and what I wanted to do in 5th year, and what I wanted to do in 6th year, and what I wanted to do in college. And although that actually might seem more scary, it helps you see that there's a path ahead of you. And no matter what you think just now, there's always going to be a path ahead of you. There's always going to be that light at the end of the tunnel. You just need to see it yourself. You need to open your eyes and look at it. You know, you just really need to tell yourself that it's going to be okay to make you think that it's going to be okay. No matter if you're in the deep depths of hell right now, you need to think there's a way out. You know, there's always going to be a way out. And you just need to believe it, which is corny as hell, right? But you just need to believe it. And I just spoke to people. To be honest, I am so freaking grateful for my friends, because I don't know what would have happened that summer if I didn't reach out. And I know it's so hard to actually speak to people, because you think you're being a burden, you think they don't care. It's too hard to put into words. Just reach out to someone you really trust and go, hey, I'm not doing good. I want help. I want to stop feeling the way that I do. And you get that help because people care about you. People love you and they appreciate you and they like having you around. No matter how much you feel you're going to be a burden by talking to people, you just need to reach out, you know? And everything is going to be okay. Which is something that I had to try so hard to make myself really believe that everything was going to be okay, because there was points during that summer where I thought nothing's going to make this better. No matter who I talk to, no matter who I'm with, nothing's going to make this better, but it got better. And I don't think that right now, although things are stressful, although I'm applying to university in like 4 months' time, I have that future now. I have something to look for, because I got out of that hole, and there is a future ahead of me, and there's a future ahead of you as well. No matter your grades, no matter what people are saying about you, there's a way for you to navigate life without feeling like you have no purpose. I'm gonna wrap it up now. But as always, my DMs on Instagram always open. If you want to reach out, send me a DM. My Instagram is in the description of the video. Stay safe. You guys are so loved, and I'll see you guys in the next video.